Hello from Ukraine and welcome to checkmydream.com. Today we're offering you to talk about the most popular dream plot among people of all the world. We're talking about deceased people. So what does it mean when you dream about someone who is already dead being alive? In order to understand the meaning of the plot about deceased people, you should take into account a number of factors. First of all, the emotion and coloring of your dream, how the deceased person behaved, how did he look, and so on. The interpretation of dreams about people who passed away can vary a lot. Maybe you remember that old people usually like to say that when you see someone who already passed away, it usually means that the weather will change. Dreams about deceased people may be a reflection of your subconscious mind trying to process and understand that the person has passed away and you are not going to see him anymore. These dreams can just be a reflection of your grief and sadness if you recently lost someone you care about. Seeing the departed people in your dreams may also be a reflection of your desire to connect with them once again. This may be the case when the person who departed played an important role in your life, or maybe for some reason you didn't have a chance to say goodbye before they passed away. Besides that, plots about deceased people may represent some aspects of the person's psyche or his inner acceptance of his self. Maybe the deceased person had some traits of character that the person who sees him wants to emulate or just admires. Seeing someone who is already dead in your dream may be also a reflection of your own thinking about life and death and your fears of mortality. Very often deceased people may behave like nothing happened, like they are still alive, and the person who sees such a dream may even have doubts about whether the person has really passed away. Seeing the gunner alive and behaving quite normally may be a prediction of some unexpected news. And besides that, it may be a warning about some coming problems into your life. You should always remember to pay attention to the words that the deceased person is saying to you, because usually they carry a hint or some advice that your departed relative or friend wants to give to you from the other world. If there are not much other details in your dream besides the deceased person himself or herself, these dreams are not considered quite important because they usually just reflect that you still haven't understood the loss and you haven't accepted losing this person yet. You should always pay attention to how the deceased person behaves in your dream. For example, it may seem odd, but if your deceased relative, for example, comes to your dream and says that he's, for example, feeling cold, this is a definite sign that you should visit his or her grave, and maybe something is wrong with the tombstone, and you should come to the cemetery and make sure that everything is all right. What about when you see a plot when a deceased person gives you flowers? This may be the case when you have just recently remembered the departed person, and that is why he has come into your dreams. Besides that, this plot may mean that there will be some change in your social status soon. For example, a young girl or woman may meet a soulmate soon. According to the Chinese dream interpreters, seeing someone who passed away, if he was quite a respected person in real life, is a symbol of great success coming to you. Some dream books consider that seeing dead people in a dream is a sign of a person's dissatisfaction with himself. Maybe he regrets some mistakes that cannot be corrected already. Besides that, seeing that person in a dream may predict a complete change in your life, social status, changing your work, changing relations with some people. When a pregnant woman dreams about a deceased person, unfortunately, this may predict a difficult childbirth for her. If a deceased person came into your place as a guest, this is a sign that you miss this person a lot. If the person who has already passed away in waking life tells you directly in your dream that he is alive, this means that you may be expecting some news coming soon. According to Freud, seeing a dead person in your dream is a symbol of depression because of your personal life. Some interpreters consider that seeing dead people in your dreams is a sign that you should not forget visiting your elderly relatives. As we have already mentioned, you should always pay attention to the words said by the deceased person. They have symbolic meaning for the dreamer himself, first of all, and he should be the one who understands and interprets them the best. A conversation with the deceased person in your dream may be a reflection of your own thoughts and trying to figure out how to solve some definite problem, and that is how you can get an insight from your departed relative or friend, for example. Some people used to ask whether the deceased person can give them a hint about a winning lottery number. So is this true? It is hard to say for sure, of course. For example, in Chinese culture, some numbers are considered really a sign of luck. For example, number 8 translates or sounds exactly like the word prosperity, while number 4, for example, is a bad sign that means death. So as seeing a dead person in your dream may be just a reflection of your own thoughts, and if a person feels elevated or has some hope, or he feels like he is going to win something, when he sees a dream about winning the lottery, it is possible that his subconscious mind is giving him a hint about the winning numbers. The most popular dream plot about deceased people is seeing your relatives who passed away. So are these dreams good or bad ones? Seeing your deceased relatives in a dream can be both comforting and unsettling at the same time. It may vary from person to person. For some people, it may be quite good and pleasant to see a departed person, his relative, who he has the chance to say goodbye, for example, or solve some issue that was still unsolved in waking life. For some people, seeing their departed relatives may be quite unsettling and make them anxious because they are reliving the sense of losing them once again. That is why the person may feel lonely and isolated. In this case, it wouldn't be extra to go to the cemetery or just to have a family dinner in order to commemorate your deceased relatives and remember about him once again. Have you seen your departed relatives together in your dream? For some people it may be quite a good symbol, which means that although your parents have departed, they are still watching over you and providing guidance and support. This is especially relevant when a person has some problems in waking life and has a difficult life period. Besides that, seeing your both deceased parents together in a dream may be a reflection of unsolved issues with your parents while they were still alive. Besides that, this dream plot may mean that the person is ready to move on in his life. Very often we can see our deceased friends in our dream. These plots are usually quite nice and quite favorable for a person, which they let them communicate with the deceased friend once again and show that the friendship still exists even in such a way. One of the worst dream plots about deceased people is when the departed is calling you to follow him. So if you have a chance to control the dream plot anyway, you should try to say no and not follow the deceased person. Because this dream plot may mean that someone in your family may die soon, unfortunately. Besides that, following the dead person in your dream may warn you of some difficulties and troubles, but you may be able to avoid them if you are quite cautious. If in your dream plot you were trying to get rid of the deceased person in any way, but he didn't want to leave you, this plot is a symbol that there is something in your past that is holding you back and does not let you move forward. If you try to kiss the dead man in your dream, this dream plot reflects the sense of guilt that you have towards this person. Maybe you have insulted him or her in some way, but still didn't have the chance to apologize before he departed. So you have this unresolved issue that is not letting you move forward. You should remember that it is always a good sign if you see a dead person looking healthy, looking good, for example, wearing clean and neat clothes in your dream. This plot means that he's dead in peace and looking after you. When the deceased person is sad, he looks ill, this may mean that something is tormenting the departed person, or this is a warning about some problems coming that you should get ready for. The deceased people can be doing a number of things in our dream plots. For example, what does it mean if a dead person is stretching his hands towards you from a coffin? This is a bad sign, which is a warning about someone who maybe wanted to take revenge over you for some insult, or this may mean that you may get ill or even attacked by someone. If a dead person was crying in his coffin, this dream plot warns of some quarrel coming. If many dead people are surrounding you in your dream, this is a negative plot promising that there will be a number of problems in your life soon, and people who surround you at the moment usually dislike you for some reason. If the deceased person was giving you money in a dream, this plot usually promises financial success. If it was someone close to you, this may mean that a person wants to provide some help or advice for you. It may be not related to the financial sphere at all. Some interpreters consider that if you remember with which hand the deceased person gave you the money, this can also help you interpret the plot. If he gave you the money with his right hand, this means you might get a lottery winning soon. If the dead person gave you money with his left hand, this can be a sign of inheritance coming soon. Maybe you had a dream about a dead person who was getting married. In this case, this is a good plot, meaning that the person has found peace in the afterlife. Besides that, this means that you are ready to move on and accept the loss. In some cultures, it is considered a bad sign if you see a deceased person getting married in your dream, which means that you are becoming emotionally disconnected from the departed. It is a positive sign if you see a departed person sleeping in your dream, which also means that the person has found comfort and peace in the afterlife, so you may not worry for him. Maybe the deceased person was quite angry and mad about something in your dream. This is a bad sign, predicting some troubles and a number of obstacles that you'll have to overcome. Besides that, this dream plot is a sign of low self-esteem. Some people see the deceased person dying once again in their dreams. These plots, of course, are quite unsettling and making the person quite anxious. These dreams symbolize that the person has unresolved issues, unresolved feelings, that he still hasn't accepted the loss of the person and he is still in grief. Besides that, when you see a dead person dying once again in your dream, this plot may symbolize some part of your own current life that is undergoing some transformation and changes at the moment. What does seeing deceased people means in Islam? According to the Islamic interpreters, when you see a dead person in your dream, this is the meaning of communication between the world of the living with the world of the dead. In Islam, the dreams about dead people are interpreted depending on the plot details and the emotional part. For example, seeing dead people happy and content are, as in all the dream books, a good sign, promising that the person has found peace. When you see that a departed person is sad or crying or in grief in your dream, this is considered a bad sign, meaning that the person has some unresolved issues even in the afterlife as well, and that he needs prayers from those who are still living. Or besides that, you may do some good action, something good on the behalf of the deceased. What is the biblical meaning of seeing deceased people in our dreams? The Bible also considers that seeing a dead person in a dream is a way of communication of the person living with the one who has departed, and it is also a sign of longing. But at the same time, the Bible considers it a kind of divination when you are communicating with the deceased, and it is actually forbidden to be communicating with people from the other world. So what does it mean when we see dead people in Hinduism? In Hinduism, it is considered that talking to deceased people is kind of connection between the physical and spiritual realm of the person. It is considered that dead people can come to our dreams in order to provide us guidance, to give us some advice, a hint, or give us a warning about something. So please pay attention to what our ancestors are saying us in a dream. In Judaism, when you see a dead person in your dream, it is considered that it is a way how God communicates with you through a deceased person. And these dreams should be understood considering the religious aspects of the person. We should remind you once again that in this video we discussed only the topic of the departed people who are seen alive in our dreams. If you saw someone who is living in waking life, seen dead in your dream, this is quite another topic, and you should not worry about this person at all, because seeing someone dead who is alive is usually a very good sign, predicting him longevity and a happy life. There is still plenty of information about dreams of the deceased people. You can visit our website checkmydream.com in order to read much more interesting information about this topic. Thank you for watching us. We wish you a good day. And of course, do not forget to subscribe to our channel.